The Failures of Modern Dating, 2020 and Beyond. Josiah Olivares Spiel Number 5. Disclaimer, this will probably be the most incel-esque take on the topic of dating and relationships you have ever read, so read at your own cringe. This spiel will also have two major biases: 1, I am an adult male. 2, I am a Christian. This spiel will focus on the heterosexual dynamic, man and woman. I also understand that many men feel agitated to bring such issues up, because if done so, they could end up being labeled by immature people as a misogynistic incel virgin. Touching upon such neglected discourse in our current society, there definitely is a stigma attached to it. However, since I personally am used to being labeled as the stereotypical nerdy virgin, I can vouch as a candidate that has the credentials to speak on such a topic. I can take one for the team, so as to not let my fellow brethren be labeled such abhorrent names for touching upon the flaws of modern dating. I will not allow my fellow brethren to be laughed at or scorned for talking about a serious issue that is going on in our world. Lastly, if you want other perspectives on this topic, I suggest visiting the chief website for the output of media, namely YouTube, which contains a plethora of diverse takes on the subject of modern dating. God created Adam, the first human. He was a man. According to God, it is not good that a man should be alone, therefore he created for him Eve, a woman. A perfect counterpart/missing puzzle piece to the man. By this unity, husband and wife, children can be created. Humans can beget more living humans. They have the ability to create life just like God created life in the Garden of Eden. The man and woman were able to create life in a way that was free from sexually transmitted diseases and birthing pains for the woman. What a concept! God's original design for men and women was perfect. That perfection was abruptly put to an end when the subtle serpent, the devil, came along and ruined God's original design for men and women. The tempter persuaded the woman that she can become like God if she ate of the forbidden fruit from the knowledge of good and evil. The woman, being a weaker vessel than the man, gave in to the persuasion and ate the God-forsaken fruit. Upon seeing his beautiful wife eat the tempting fruit, the man lost his self-discipline and succumbed to the deception of the enemy, which caused him to eat the forbidden fruit as well. This brought sin and corruption into what was once a perfect world, and ever since, God's original intent for the man/woman dynamic has been corrupted. Now that the origin of the man/woman dynamic is out of the way, let us fast forward in history to present day 2024. What do we see concerning such a dynamic? Well, I will tell you, and I will make my best effort to do so in a way that does not sugarcoat reality so as to please the itching ears of the readers. Men and women are equal in the sight of God. However, they have differences. On average, men are more physically strong and tall than women. They also happen to be more aggressive. Women happen to be more on the timid side, and are usually more frail in physicality. On average, men are more logical, while women are more emotional. If you are a woman who is upset by that statement, thank you for proving my point. Men can virtually impregnate women from puberty to the end of their lifespan, as nasty as that sounds, while women, on the other hand, have a biological window of about 40 years to bear children. Here is a quote that I have found from Healthline. Technically, women can get pregnant and bear children from puberty when they start their menstrual period to menopause when they stop getting it. The average woman's reproductive years are between ages 12 and 51. Your fertility naturally declines as you get older, which could make it harder for you to conceive. Men were designed to be natural protectors and providers, while women were given an innate nature to comfort and nurture. Men were designed to tolerate harsh labor, while women were designed to birth babies. I mean, it's obvious. Men have physical attributes that cater to labor, a bigger stature, broader shoulders, etc., while women were created with physical assets that cater to popping out babies and nurturing them, breasts, wide hips, longer hair, etc. These attributes/reproductive decorations are specific to women. because being outwardly pleasing to the gender that she was crafted from and giving birth to babies are their superpowers. If these gender roles are taken away through modern feminism, the invention of the birth control pill, social media, dating apps, the death of third places, inflation, car-dependent societies, etc., what is left will be a pandemic of depressed, lonely, and antisocial people. A, so to say, generation of lost causes that is drowned in nihilism and vanity, where men are indulging in pornography, video games, and substance to numb the pain. A generation in which women were lied to by the elites who continue to push the notion that being a boss babe is infinitely better than being a mother who remains in a monogamous marriage to better foster her children. Women who were told that sexual empowerment would bring fulfillment, which really did the opposite. This modern way of society is a worldwide phenomenon. However, it is most prevalent in Western society. The United States of America has been pampered so fervently these past couple of decades, which caused an outbreak in weak, effeminate men. Women, I am so sorry that our generation is filled with weak men who have caused hard times, and have caused you to play the role of men out of necessity. We hope that these hard times breed strong men, who in turn, breed better times. Let's just hope that these better times do not breed weak men, so this cycle doesn't have to keep repeating as seen on the screen. We are currently living in hard times. This is why Gen Z, the generation of people that were born from 1997 to 2012, has the highest rate of suicides and mental health issues than any other previous generation. Men are more likely to commit suicide, while women are more likely to suffer from mental health issues. Why is this? It does not have to be like this. First and foremost, God has to be brought back into the lives of young people. Gen Z is the generation that is the least religious. The fear of God is lacking in my generation, and it certainly is upsetting. We are going against God's intended design. Men are lacking in purpose nowadays. There is no incentive to be a man anymore. Who wants to die for this country nowadays? This country used to be such an exceptional one, where the American dream was still alive. The American dream is turning into nothing but an American nightmare, with the societal decadence that has been happening, as well as inflation. Speaking as a man, there has been nothing to fight for and no adventure to seek out. What happened to being the knight in shining armor to slay the dragon in order to rescue the damsel in distress? You think we as men want to risk our lives for scantily clad women who do nothing but work and complain about men all day? Heck no. Do you think we as men want to hold open a door for a woman who thinks masculinity is toxic? Heck no. We don't need men, hollers the modern woman. Okay, if you don't need men, then don't use any light bulbs. Live in any houses that were built by hard-working carpenter men, or use social media that was created by the minds of men, and so on. Men would rather fight for women who embrace their femininity and are not toxic toward men who practice their manhood. In this day and age, such women are rare. Chivalry is dead, and women killed it. Wrong. Men killed it for acting effeminate. Women in the presence of manly men will succumb to their feminine desires, which will result in more feminine women. Effeminate men result in masculine women, not the other way around. Men who lack something to fight for will always result in feeling a lack of fulfillment. The same thing goes for women. If women do not play their role as the comforting and nurturing gender, they will also lack a feeling of fulfillment. To be quite frank, the government wants to destroy the nuclear family, a structure that God created to multiply the earth. More people on this earth means more people to serve and worship the Almighty God. That is what God wants. That is what the Lord Jesus Christ wants, more people on this planet to worship Him and to be able to spend eternity with Him. The leader of this world, Satan, or the devil, wants the opposite. He is the ruler of this world, and causes the government to move in a way that exalts a population decline. The weaker the men are, the easier it will be for the government to control the people. This is why the government pushes for abortion rights, the LGBTQ community, feminism, inflation, veganism, body positivity, etc. They want testosterone levels to decrease because weaker men equals a better chance to control the way the society moves, and it is moving in the wrong direction. The music we listen to, the media and art we consume, the clothes we wear, the way we talk, the way we act, all of it is a reflection of our moral decline and degeneracy. I didn't even touch upon inflation. It is so darn difficult/expensive to start a family, especially post-COVID. The baby boomers of post-World War II had all the incentive to start a family. The US economy was booming, men and women had mutual respect for each other, gender roles were in place, religion was strong, third places, I'll explain this shortly, were still alive, and the new concept of the American dream, a family of 4, house in the suburbs, white picket fence, new car, and a pet, was very much achievable at a relatively young age. Back then, there was less of a financial burden to have children. In today's world, people of my age group have to work significantly harder than people of previous generations if they ever dream of getting married and having kids. Not to mention the staggering divorce rates that occur in modern marriages. People have forsaken the sacredness of marriage as a one-and-done deal that should last a lifetime, or till death do us part. People who are in their 20s nowadays are too busy acting like immature children rather than being an adult. If you are an adult, you better act like one. One other factor that discourages the nuclear family is the lack of socialization. I have already mentioned that loneliness is a major pandemic that is not only going on in the United States, but in other countries as well. Look at the population crises that are occurring in countries such as Japan and South Korea. Young people today are suffering from loneliness more than ever before. On paper, we should be more connected to one another. In the whole history of mankind, we have never been more connected to the world than we are today. Traveling to a different country via a flying metallic machine in the sky was unheard of prior to the Industrial Revolution. Likewise, contacting people thousands of miles away through an electronic rectangle that you can hold in your hand was unthinkable prior to the dot-com boom of 1995. We have never had it so easy to connect with other people, but why are we still so lonely? I believe there are 3 main reasons why this is. 1. Not letting Jesus fill the void of loneliness. 2. COVID-19, which hurt the economy and killed the concept of the third place, anywhere that is not home and work, a place to unwind and relax with friends in person, i.e. coffee shops, arcades, diners. 3. Social media and living life through a screen instead of touching grass and connecting with people in person. Another problem is that we, as a generation, would rather engage in hookup culture, meaningless sex, flippancy/disrespect toward the opposite gender, superficialities, hedonism, and the list goes on. Both men and women are to blame for the disastrous dating landscape that we are currently in. I will call out both genders, and since I still believe in chivalry, I will say, ladies first. I first need to ask modern women. Why? Just. Why? Let's start with the famous, nice guys finish last. Okay, I agree that men shouldn't be pushovers and agreeable all the time, but if they are doing their best to just be kind to you ladies, what is so repulsive about that? These are the type of guys that you women reject, and instead, you'll go for the bad boy, not man, but boy, that sees you as nothing but a sexual object. You are most likely to be cheated on by this guy, someone who is probably talking to other girls than yourself, and would never settle with a woman who desires a marriage with kids. I want a man who is over 6 feet tall. He must make at least 6 figures a year and must have a six-pack. It's the famous 666 complex. How delusional can you get? Are you that shallow? Of course it is good to have standards, but these standards are super-duper unrealistically high. Do you have daddy issues, or something? Did you lack a father figure growing up? When you are in your 30s, a less desirable age range, and you want to settle down, don't go crawling back to the nice guys that you have rejected in the past. It is likely that they have already settled down with a mature woman who values personality, kindness, and familial values over trivial attributes such as height, something that men cannot even control. If you prefer taller guys because you happen to be a taller woman and you want a guy who is taller than you, that's a whole different story. Stop the war against men. Just because a guy comes up to you to make conversation, that doesn't mean he is there to attack you. If he is not being a creep and genuinely wants to talk to you, consider it a good thing. Not every girl has the privilege of having a guy fancy them. I get that some men can be scary, but most of them are kind and have no ill intent. If you do not like him, simply decline the offer in a polite and mature way. In some extreme cases, women have made false rape accusations to men who they do not like. The justice system is almost always on the side of women. This also applies to a divorce case in which the woman can inherit an enormous amount of assets from the man, and can prosecute the man without any evidence whatsoever. The worst she can say is no. Wrong. She can change the course of your life for the worse in a blink of an eye. Also, stop making dirty content online and posting it for everyone to see, OnlyFans, Pornhub, etc. Deep down, are you really happy or proud of yourself that you are making sex work and filming your body naked for the whole world to see? I don't think so. The most pleasurable/fulfilling sex is one that is between a married husband and wife. God is pleased with that sex only, such is not a sin and the marriage bed is undefiled. Any other sex/sexual activity that detracts from that original design is a sin. Another thing you can consider is men don't get complimented as much as you women do. Heck, y'all, for the most part, control the dating market. Y'all get showered every day with compliments and your DMs get flooded with attention after attention. If there is something nice about a man, feel free to compliment him. That's the least you can do. Men get complimented all the time. Sure they do, but you bet your bottom dollar that they came from either relatives, elderly folk, or gay men. Well, I have pointed out the flaws with women regarding today's dating scene. Now, it is time for the men. Men, what are y'all doing? Instead of watching pornographic content, which makes you weak, playing video games all day, or abusing substances, try doing something more productive. Engage in activities that will enhance your brain rather than cause it to rot. Exercise at the gym, read informative books at the library, talk to a woman in real life and so on. Such activities are paramount to a man's happiness. Do you think a woman will go for a man, or should I say boy, who lacks ambition or purpose in his life? I doubt it. Do you think a woman will go for a man who is weak physically, mentally, and spiritually, and has a lack of self-discipline/control? I doubt it. Be a man, dress like one, have good hygiene, be kind but not to the point where you are a pushover, gain more intelligence, so on and so forth. The most important thing out of all of these is to not worry about things that you cannot handle, i.e. height, skin color, eye color, sausage size, and all of the millions of other trivial qualities that modern women seek out in a man. Immature girls who watch too much Disney care about those trifling things. Mature women of godly value don't. Godly women are attracted to the godly qualities in a man, the qualities that God designed for men of honor, that are explained in the Bible. I am sure you all get the point by now. Modern dating is broken. Though, it does not have to be like this. There is always a solution, but both men and women have to play a part in fixing the situation. First of all, we have to understand that men cannot fully comprehend what it is like to be a woman nor think like one. Likewise, women cannot fully comprehend what it is like to be a man nor think like one. We have to acknowledge that we are different, but we are equal in the sight of God. Men and women were created to complement each other's differences. One thing that a gender cannot do, the other gender can fill in. Out with feminism, in with the biblical structure that was put in place by God for the two genders. Understand that the devil wants a gender war, while God wants unity between the two sexes. Men must play men again. If you take a woman out on a date, you are the man, you must pay. End of discussion. Don't let the woman pay unless she says she wants to chip in. Let her enjoy being in the presence of your manliness. She has to endure pains of periods and childbirth. You don't. Hold the door for her. If she is cold, take off your jacket and let her wear it. Protect the family. Provide for the family. Love your family. If you are a woman, you must appreciate the sacrifices that men have made for you, such as dying at war. Don't subscribe to the modern ways of feminism that have derailed from its original roots that entailed a movement which went from simply advocating for women's suffrage, to outright hating the male gender. If you have a husband, comfort him after a long day of work. Cook for him. Clean for him. Submit to him. Love him. To be able to say the things that I have said in this spiel, I had to unlearn the ungodly concepts that I have learned from the past. Even I used to contribute to this very problem, a problem in which I am making my best to put chinks in for the betterment of our current and future generations. However, I have learned to embrace my masculinity in a proper, godly manner. I will end my spiel by saying, we need Jesus Christ at the center of our relationships.
If you enjoyed that video, smash that like button and consider subscribing to see more of what Chanty767 has to offer. Peace.